Thanks so much for joining us here on ABC24 Plus. I'm Chief Meteorologist Trevor Birchett with an extended look at the weather forecast for Memphis and the Mid-South over the next few days. Going to be a pretty busy pattern here. Not only are we talking about dangerous heat and humidity, we also have some trouble down in the Gulf. It is hurricane season. We have to look out for that because anything down in the Gulf could bring some rain up to the Mid-South. Of course, many of us are hoping for some rain to cool us down a little bit. We'll talk about that here in just a little bit. But I want to start out with just a general look at the forecast here for the next 7 days, because really the big story, at least in the short term, is going to be the extreme heat. We have a weather impact alert that's in effect for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday because we expect dangerous heat index values. Now, of course, it's already been hot. The heat index has been around 100. But once we get to Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, that heat index starts to get a little closer to 105. And that's when we get to that dangerous level. 105 is really what we consider more dangerous, where you can start to have heat stroke, heat exhaustion, and dehydration. So over the next few days, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, it seems like that is going to be the most dangerous stretch of heat. High temperatures in the mid-90s, upper 90s for some of us. Heat index over 105, could be as high as 110. And very little chance of rain. I do not expect much rain here for the next several days. Looking ahead to the weekend, we are tracking slight rain chances Saturday and Sunday, and that's all thanks to that tropical system down in the Gulf. But it really depends on where it goes. That tropical system could miss us and keep us dry. If it does get a little closer to us, we could be talking about some rain chances by the weekend, which of course could bring our temperatures down. For right now, I'm keeping it hot, humid, and dry. I don't believe that tropical system will impact us too much. We'll have to watch and see. But for right now, I'm going to go with the hotter version. But if we get some rain from that tropical system, it could knock those temperatures down a bit by the weekend. Regardless, though, by next week, we get hot again. Sunshine, mostly dry next week. I expect that it could be even hotter by next week with a real heat wave starting to take shape. I do want to check in with our ABC24 weather watchers. This is Susie, who knew exactly how to cool down. This is from our friend Mary. You see her pup out at the pool, got the sunshades, the floaty, living it up. Better than most of us, I think. That's a good way to cool down. Thank you to Mary for sharing that with us, and hope Susie's staying cool here for the next couple of days as well. You can always join us here on the ABC24 Weather Watchers. That's our Facebook group. So if you just search ABC24 Memphis Weather Watchers on Facebook, it will take you there. You could submit your own pup photos and videos. You could talk about the weather in your backyard, sunshine, rain, whatever you have. We'd love to see it and for you to tell us what's going on in your part of the Mid-South. You can also just scan that QR code right there with your phone's camera, and that will take you to our Facebook group. Again, that's the ABC24 Memphis Weather Watchers. But the big story is that heat. A weather impact alert for the next few days. Heat index at least 105, probably higher than that for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Hot off the press, we do have now a heat advisory for much of the Mid-South for Wednesday. This is because the National Weather Service, much like us, is thinking that heat index will be above 105, which is that dangerous level. So a heat advisory now in effect for Memphis and most of the Mid-South for Wednesday. That's probably going to be extended for Thursday and Friday. Those days could actually be a little bit hotter. So the next 3 days, the weather impact alert, 95 Wednesday, a heat index of over 105, 96 Thursday, 95 Friday, so already very hot, but the humidity is going to be so high that it's going to push that heat index to 105 to 110, and that's what's going to make it dangerous. A lot of sports teams already practicing, getting ready for football season. This is something we have to pay attention to because this heat can be dangerous, if not deadly, especially with this combination of heat and humidity. Sunshine in general for the next few days. Rain chances are very, very low. Could there be a pop-up storm somewhere? Yeah, I think most of us will miss the rain at least through the end of the week, and that's going to keep us pretty hot. Dew point is 75. We use this number to measure exactly how humid it is, and you can kind of look at the scale we have over on the side. Would love the dew point to be 60 right now. 60 feels great. It's that crisp fall kind of air. Once we get to mid-60s, close to 70, it starts to get humid. Over 75 is just miserable. It's almost so humid you have trouble breathing. When you walk outside, you can kind of feel your body struggling in that heavy, soupy air. So that's what we're dealing with. It's uncomfortable. It's so humid. That's what's pushing our heat index so high. And as we look at the heat index for the next few days, again, 105, 106, maybe even 107 for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It seems like the humidity will come down a bit by the weekend. So not as hot or humid by the weekend, but heat index is still 100 Saturday and Sunday. So don't get me wrong, it will still be hot this weekend, just not as dangerously hot as Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Again, next week, I think we will be cranking the heat up even more as we look ahead toward next Tuesday and Wednesday. Could be some of the hottest weather we've seen so far this year. So think about your summer heat safety. The biggest thing you can do is to stay hydrated. Drink plenty of water. I got my jug out here today. Get the biggest bottle of water you can and drink through this multiple times through the day. Especially if you know you're going to be working outside, you need to be drinking water the night before. Give that water, that hydration, some time to hit your system so that you're hydrated when you go outside. If you have to be outside, you need to be drinking that water the night before and through the day. You want to take breaks inside, in the air conditioning, in the shade, anything. Get out of the sun for at least a little bit, but getting in that AC if you can. Remember your kids and your pets. They are also susceptible to heat stroke, especially if they're in the back seat. There's no reason any living item should be left in the back seat of your car right now. I don't care if it's a hamster. Nothing living should be in your back seat with the windows up and the car off. Even if you leave the windows down, it can still get dangerously hot. It can get up to 120, 130, 140 in the back seat of your car. Nothing can survive that. Please double check the back seat for the kids and the pets especially, but anything living, you do not want it in your car. Also, check in on your friends and neighbors, especially the elderly. If you have any family members that might be a little older that have some trouble getting around, just give them a call and make sure their AC is still working. Make sure they don't need any help, because if an AC unit goes down for someone that has some trouble getting around, that can be serious. So one phone call or one knock on the door to make sure people are doing okay in this heat, it really can save a life. Like I mentioned, rain chances overall, they're not very high. Wednesday, there could be a couple of those pop-up thunderstorms. We'll talk about that here in a second. Thursday, Friday look pretty dry, only a 20% chance. I think most of us are dry those days. The weekend right now is at that 30% chance, but again, it depends on where this tropical system goes. If it gets a little closer to us, it could bring us a little more rain for the weekend. But for right now, as the forecast sets at this moment, I think most of us are dry for a good chunk of the next 7 days. Here's the hour-by-hour radar. This is for Tuesday afternoon. Yeah, a couple of pop-ups. I'm really going to be watching for Tuesday afternoon north of Interstate 40, northwest Tennessee, northeast Arkansas. That's where there could be a few quick downpours. Memphis and points to the south, I think we're pretty dry for Tuesday. And then Tuesday night looks pretty dry too, aside from maybe a quick shower or two. Wednesday, we do it again as we roll the radar through about noon, maybe into Wednesday afternoon. A couple of those quick blips on the radar where you get that quick 20-minute downpour and then it's sunny again. That's possible, but I do think the odds are pretty slim here for the next few days. Most of us just going to be pretty dry. As a reminder, though, these summer storms can pop up fast and they can pack a punch. We had a little summer storm in South Haven on Sunday that actually caused some damage because we had some high wind gusts. So just be aware that these storms can develop fast. We can go from sunny and dry to pouring rain and windy in a matter of 5 minutes. And the good thing is they usually do not last long. You know, they usually come and go pretty quickly. But I do want you to make sure you're watching the radar over the next few days. Just be aware that a storm could pop up at any point. And of course, if you do hear some thunder, make sure you're ready to head inside. If you're close enough to hear the thunder, you're close enough to be struck by lightning. All right, let's talk about the tropics. It's hurricane season, and this is really the first development area that we're watching that might affect us here in Memphis in the Mid-South. Still a huge question mark on that, though. And really, this whole forecast, there's a lot of question marks in. And the reason why is if you look at the satellite, there's not really a system to track. It's just a couple of blobs of thunderstorms. It hasn't organized itself yet. So until this system can get organized, it's really hard to forecast, right? You need something to track first. So there's a lot of question marks with this tropical system. But you can see here, I'll actually zoom in just a little bit more. Just in the last couple of hours here over central Florida, just north of Orlando, we have that little bubble of thunderstorms that have developed. We've had some thunderstorms out in the Gulf. Really, it's that little zone right in there over central Florida that is what we're going to watch. What's going to happen is you see it's moving to the west, and that is because we have high pressure over us here in the southeast. So you've got an area of high pressure there in the south, and what that's doing is over the Gulf, the winds are moving east to west. The winds kind of swirl around that high pressure clockwise. So what we're looking at here again is that you've got the high pressure off to the north, winds moving from east to west here, and that's going to push this area of disturbed weather into the Gulf. That is going to give it at least a chance to get its act together. Now, the odds of this becoming a serious tropical system are pretty slim, but it could develop into something that at least brings some heavy rain to the Gulf Coast. This would be by the end of the week. So if you're going down to Gulf Shores, Orange Beach, Pensacola, Panama City even, New Orleans over the next couple of days, we don't expect a hurricane, but we could have some very heavy rain associated with this tropical system. Now I want to show you the spaghetti plots, and this is what we use to determine where this thing could go. Each line is a separate model that is predicting where the storm could go. Now, some of these have it curving way up into the Carolinas. Most of these actually have it kind of riding along the Gulf Coast into Texas. There's at least a couple that could bring this low pressure toward Memphis. So I think the odds are pretty slim, but there is at least a chance that that tropical system could ride down in the Gulf, curve up, and then bring some rain to Memphis. Again, I don't expect a serious hurricane by any means, but some heavy rain would be the biggest concern with this. So we're going to watch that by the weekend. Again, for now, I'm sticking with hot and dry, but there's at least a chance that the forecast could change to add in some rain this weekend. I think we'll have a better idea by tomorrow and especially Thursday. For now, the models are not showing much rain up to the Memphis area. It does show some heavy rain along the Gulf Coast. Again, 2 to 4 inches in Mobile, maybe a little bit of rain inland, but for right now, this model has less than an inch of rain in Memphis for the next 7 days. Again, that could change. If this system curves the right way, we could get a little rain in Memphis, but for right now, I think the weekend is still pretty dry. We'll update you if that changes. By the way, the next storm name, we've already been through 3. A lot of those were just out in the ocean. The next name is Dexter. If this does become a tropical storm, it would be Dexter. Still a question mark on if it does. I think the biggest issue is going to be the rain. And of course, we could still get the heavy rain along the Gulf, even if we don't have a named tropical system. All right, here back closer to home, we'll get you another look at that 7-day forecast. Of course, we've got the weather impact alert for the next 3 days for dangerous heat. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, heat index over 105. That's going to really put a strain on you, especially if you have to be outside. So that is a big impact there with this dangerous heat. So take care of yourself. Stay hydrated. Just stay in the AC if you can. Rain chance is very low through the end of the week. A quick shower possible. I think many of us are dry from now through Friday. The weekend, temperatures come down a bit. Still hot, just not as hot. 92 Saturday and Sunday. Again, slight chances for some storms. If that tropical system curves up the right way, we might have to add some more rain chances for Saturday and Sunday. For now, I'm going to go with more of the dry solution. We'll see what the models hold for the next few days. Next week, I think we get even hotter. We're already 95 by Tuesday with sunshine. I think by the middle of next week, we're going to be talking about some pretty serious heat and humidity. So I know it's going to be hot for the next few days. Next week could be even hotter. It's the middle of July, the middle of summer. Probably going to feel like it here for the next couple of days. Stick with us right here on ABC24 Plus. We'll have, of course, a lot of more extended weather updates and information. We're going to try to do this every day, at least for the next little bit. You can check in with us anytime. If you don't have the app yet, download it for your smart TV, just like you would download Netflix or Hulu. Just search ABC24. We have our own streaming channel there. You can watch extended weather updates like this. When we get severe weather, we do a lot of updates like this. Sports, Avery Braxton has a long-form sports show, almost like a podcast, where he talks about some stuff. ABC24 this week with Pepper Baker is here. And of course, we always have the latest breaking news and weather. Every newscast is also live streamed right here on ABC24+. So some good stuff. Tell a friend. It's a free download. Make sure you have it on your smart TV. It's great if you don't have cable, but you still want to get connected with local news. If you've got that smart TV, you can download us there. See you back here with more updates coming up here soon. For now, we'll let you go. I'm Chief Meteorologist Trevor Birchett. Stay cool and stay safe.